make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm on a different level than everybody.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to boxing, because Devin, he's a boxer.
It's on him. You know what I mean? It's on him. He knows that he's going to get this fade sooner or later. So it's only a matter of time. Obviously, we can't go down. You know, we can't go down to 135. So, you know, he would have to come up. And, you know, he can get this work anytime he's ready.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat you with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man.
Shakur Stevenson is reportedly set to face Devin Haney at 140, accepting rehydration limits. Fully confident his elite skills will outclass Haney and any challenger put in front of him.
All of these guys, if y'all want me to come to 147, I'm coming in with rehydration clauses. I don't even do that.
Yeah.
But why am I going up to these guys' weight classes if I'm not planning on going?
Devin Haney insists the Shakur Stevenson fight will happen, showing real determination and commitment, making it clear he genuinely wants this bout to happen.
Shakur still at 135. You can't, you know, say your name without saying Shakur to your female tank, right? It just is what it is. Is that fight going to ever happen? Would it ever happen against you and Shakur?
100%, yeah. I think so. I think
you think Shakur will grow into whatever weight you're in?
I mean, we're all of us is close to the same size. You know, we're all growing together. We're all like, you know, getting bigger. Well, so, and it's only so many guys, like y'all said, it's only so many guys that we could make big money and people want to see the fights. Which even though I know that they making new guys, it's guys like in Kermel, Abdullah, all these guys want to come up too. So eventually they gonna be there too. But yeah, no, I think that a fight with Shakur is very much possible. We try to make it happen.
Shakur Stevenson says he's not afraid of Devin Haney, but warns Haney's team may falsely claim he's ducking the fight to shift blame.
To Devin Haney.
Okay.
Devin Haney's probably, to me, I don't think it's hit its point yet, but I think in the next year or two, it'll hit a point where it's like the world is gonna demand, you know what I'm saying? I can see the trajectory feels like it could meet like that.
I would love this fight. But look, you gotta watch what you say with like, and this is not even Devin's fault, because Devin is very respectful of my game and I'm respectful of his game. He's a good fighter. But his fans will clip and twist and turn things into something that is not. So I try to be real careful on what I say.
True. This is guy Jay on Twitter. He a big Haney fan. He be always clipping and changing stuff, Jay.
Yeah, they gonna make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no.
Shakur Stevenson believes he's levels above every opponent and insists Devin Haney lacks the power to ever knock him out.
Like he's a fucking stone cold killer who's just gonna go in there and try to knock me the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to outbox me. I'm the greatest boxer. How do you? So that's how I feel about the fight.
Yeah.
But it all gotta make sense from a business standpoint. I don't like getting up here and negotiating against myself. And,
for sure.
But for me, I'm willing
But
to
do you see it as it being that could, you know, like we always said, the Four Kings, even though you wasn't a part of it, the whole plot is like at the end of the road, there's gonna be two guys left standing, and that's the big fight. Do you see that as that's potentially what that could be?
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Devin Haney is determined to prove himself, chasing elite opponents like Shakur Stevenson to cement his true greatness at the top.
Those fights are not possible. Would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, you know, if I can't get those fights next or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then if when the time is right, then I'll defend my belt at 135. We'll just see though. I gotta go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all.
Bill Haney says they won't move down or wait, insisting any opponent wanting to fight must come up to 100.
He didn't become undisputed yet. They didn't mention the franchise belt, which directly impacted Devin's career early on, right? And it seemed like, I was saying this on my live earlier, you tell me what you think about this, but it seems to me like there's a lot of people that have tried to block y'all ambition, right? Between you signed to the wrong company, Loma not taking the Devin fight, Tio not taking the Devin fight, Rolly saying he just don't want to fight Devin. Do you see that? Like, how do you see that? As far as like, people know you're ambitious, they know you want to be unified, they know you want to be undisputed, so they put all these obstacles up and they make it hard for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. I think it's been historic in the way that they've done.
He adds a bout can happen anytime the challenger is ready.
So we must keep our composure and our patience and understand that it's part of the process when you're that good. You know what I mean? We can't say it any other way. They're running out of narratives. You know what I'm saying? And it's what the people want to see. We don't never say, okay, well, this guy has done something wrong or he did bad business. So, we'll never do it. Obviously, when we go through negotiations and we spend time in there, whether it's put something together for Richard Hitchinson, for him to come back later and to say, I want that fight. Well, when we were trying to make the fight, we couldn't. You didn't want to negotiate. You went somewhere else. When we were negotiating with Shakur Stevenson, instead of him negotiating with us, he said that he's going to go somewhere.
Tim Bradley believes Shakur Stevenson has the potential to surpass even Terrence Crawford in boxing history. He calls Crawford a Mount Rushmore level great, a 5-division world champion with an all-time resume. Still, Bradley argues Shakur's talent, IQ, and discipline give him a chance to reach even greater heights. He stresses this isn't about matching Crawford's undisputed titles or jumping through multiple weight classes, but about timing and opportunity. Bradley points to boxing politics that limited Crawford's access to defining megafights earlier in his career. If power brokers like Turkey Alashik had existed then, bridges between promoters could have been built sooner that might have delivered blockbuster bouts with Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, and Eudenis Ugas, elevating Crawford's legacy even further.
I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terrence Crawford. Listen up. Now, not in the stance of becoming 3-time undisputed and, going up, that many weight classes. Not from that standpoint. He already has 4 weight classes. Crawford is a 5-weight division champion. But in the sense of having the opportunities that Crawford didn't have. Crawford would have been even bigger than what he is if the politics didn't play into the sport at the time. And now that, you have guys like Turkey Alashik that is able to bridge that gap between promoters and, make these big fights.
With that context, Shakur is entering an era where elite talent from 130 to 135 pounds is far more accessible, giving him consistent access to top-tier opposition. Potential matchups include Devin Haney, Lamont Roach, Oshawa Foster, Gary Russell Jr., Dalton Smith, Brian Garcia, and other high-level names. Bradley believes Shakur not only has the skills and ring IQ to compete with his generation, but the opportunity to beat them one by one. Regularly facing elite opponents could define Shakur's era, strengthen his resume, and elevate his legacy. If he capitalizes on these opportunities, Bradley argues Shakur could rival or even surpass Crawford in overall impact and achievement.
Turkey was around when Crawford was on his climb. When Crawford couldn't get those big fights with like Thurman and Danny Garcia and Ugas, and he got it later with Sean Porter, but it was later. But imagine if Crawford was able to have that run and, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, the list goes on. If he would have had all those guys on his ledger, imagine how big Crawford would be. He would be even bigger than what he is today. Bigger than what he is today. So with that being said, you know, with these fighters hovering around 135, these talented fighters, hovering around 135, 130, you know, guys like, you know, O'Shaquie Foster, like I mentioned, going to go up to 135. He's big enough to go to 135.
There's a major obstacle in the way, but watching these two compete makes it clear that outside of cheating, they're highly unlikely to lose. With that in mind, Devin Haney quickly responds to Shakur, and Shakur fires back at Devin, fueling the rivalry. This back and forth highlights the competitive energy between elite fighters at the top of the sport. At one point, fans pushed the idea for Kings 2.0, featuring Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Gervonta Davis, drawing comparisons to the legendary era of Hagler, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran, when rivalries defined an entire generation.
Devin Haney going to concede to that? I doubt it. So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see, outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose. Right? With that said, Devin Haney immediately responds to Shakur. Shakur responds to Devin. Right? Again, we had the initial four kings. It was Devin, Ryan, T.O., and Tank Davis. Right? It was supposed to be the Four Kings 2.0, from the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran.
Interestingly, Wilfred Benitez, often overlooked in discussions of that era, defeated Roberto Duran, who struggled against several of the original Four Kings. Duran only beat Sugar Ray Leonard once, was brutally knocked out by Tommy Hearns, outclassed by Marvin Hagler, and even bested by Benitez. Despite these feats, Benitez remained in the shadows. In a similar way, modern fighters like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, and Teofimo Lopez have often overshadowed Shakur Stevenson. However, Stevenson has started to stand out, particularly after dominating Teofimo Lopez. At the same time, Tank Davis's legal issues and reluctance to fight further illustrate the challenges and opportunities shaping today's boxing landscape.